Tyler Bryden here. I hope everything is going well. Today, who else? A release from OpenAI, and I thought this was worthwhile talking about. ChatGPT Enterprise, the official post from OpenAI. Link in the description. As always, huge header on this bad boy. Introducing ChatGPT Enterprise. Get enterprise-grade security and privacy in the most powerful version of ChatGPT. Yet, learn more. Actually opens you to a dedicated page on it with some of the benefits and features. So customer prompts and data are not used for training models, a huge concern, one that we're seeing at Speak AI all the time. Data encryption at rest, SOC 2 compliance. So definitely more and more focus on these security apparatuses built around the interaction with AI, wondering where this data is going, how is it being used, is it being used in ways that are beneficial for others, and I'm contributing to that. We've seen things like Zoom come with their policy on the kind of rights that they have over your data when you're using the system. And so this, in the lens of AI, is a very top of mind question and topic for a lot of people. And so they have ideally, or through this process and understanding, started to build a little bit more of the infrastructure to be able to handle enterprises. Part of that being the security, the admin ability to understand how people are using the system, better access points with longer inputs. So the 32K model apparently being in the ChatGPT Enterprise, which used to be available to everyone, went back down to 8,000 token model for ChatGPT 4 and caused a lot of problems for people, including ourselves. And then the statement, 80% of Fortune 500 companies already have employees using ChatGPT for work. Now, you can see here, what's interesting in enterprises, you can't just upgrade. You are actually, at this standpoint, as they try to roll as many people in as possible, asking you to go through a sales process. You can see on that, it is a form submission. I'm guessing this form submission is being absolutely inundated right now with requests and forcing you to supply some details. I don't know if they're actually going to jump on a call or just writing back to you back and forth on email. We've made a submission here. One of the topics that I think is really interesting on this is sort of dynamic between OpenAI and Microsoft continuously embedding this kind of technology in their products, primarily through OpenAI's models. And then we've seen Bing. And then I'm guessing they're actually diversifying their own dependence on OpenAI. And then OpenAI, again, coming with sort of enterprise ChatGPT, which in some case might cannibalize the work that Microsoft is doing. There was a quote in one of these articles where OpenAI basically says people will choose what solution is best for them. No real saying of, hey, this is still a collaboration. You make up your own mind on who's doing a better job. So that's, I think, super interesting and a little bit of a shift in that messaging from OpenAI, maybe conflict. I don't know. This is all just me extrapolating on gossip around the internet, so I can't really say this for sure, but it harkens back to when developers were concerned about OpenAI and said, hey, why should we keep building products if you're just going to come and cannibalize the market that we're going to spend time on building using your technology? And they said, hey, we're not going to continue doing that, while also seeing some sort of counterintuitive signs to this with this release in ChatGPT Enterprise. Not only will we see dynamics of Microsoft versus OpenAI, we're going to see OpenAI versus the developer community who originally relied and leveraged OpenAI. We're maybe going to see some increasing tension there because maybe we're looking at enriching some of the way that you can interact with GPT through a front-end interface with better admin privileges and management. That's something that we've spent time on in Speak AI, and that can be a concern for people who are putting in those efforts, those investments. And I think that is a bigger question to ask, is how do you compete? What does that landscape look like if you are building in this space? Maybe you're building on top of OpenAI, maybe you're not, maybe you're using other models from Anthropic, Cohere, maybe you're building your own in-house ones. But for us here at Speak, we've put a lot of time of building this architecture, this container to host audio and video, be able to jump in, navigate to specific moments, have this audio video prompt away on an individual file basis, also go to top level, analyze multiple files at once, automate that prompting through speak automation. And in a way, we're seeing a lot of good signs and signals right here. We're growing and we're doing some good things. But overall, I think there will be more skepticism from companies who are building in this tech, seeing ChatGPT Enterprise emerge and have questions about where should they be putting their time and efforts if they're going to continue to drill down into this market, into this space with a product that already has significant adoption, brand recognition, and some of the best companies in the world. Also wanted to touch on, I think, a really interesting comment from David Sachs in the last All In podcast, episode 143, where really he talks about what companies in AI are doing right now and mentions this idea of enterprise, reliable, secure chat knowledge interfaces being a huge market demand drive right now. And I wanted to, I thought, elaborate on this with a couple signals that I've seen in the market. One of the clearest ones obviously being ChatGPT Enterprise here, and then also the work from Microsoft and Google to embed. But I wanted to quickly highlight another company, Cohere, Canadian company that has really done a great job raising funds. I've talked about them before if you're interested in that. And Coral is a knowledge system for enterprises to supercharge the productivity of their most strategic teams. And to me, it just speaks to that point that David Sachs made, and also the customer demand of how people are obviously blown away and excited about the innovations that's coming in AI, but then also concerned about the consequences of it and passing your data through so many black boxes that you're not exactly sure what's going to happen to it in the end. So the value proposition, all about integrations, customization, and sort of fine tuning, security, and enabling your team, especially knowledge workers, to be able to interact securely in that chat interface. So I thought that was a super interesting macro trend in this AI hype cycle. Also seeing something now, I wouldn't say it's the exact same as what we're seeing, but Claude 2 came out and there are now rumors of a paid plan for access to Claude. So taking the same model of ChatGPT, $50 per month, and then as this continues to grow, I'm guessing also seeing investment in the team and more enterprise company organization usage of tools like this, which is a necessary evolution, a gradual evolution, and a requirement if we're truly going to see this AI impact the market, the world, and be adopted like some people want. Worthwhile mentioning is the rebranding of Code Interpreter now being called Advanced Data Analysis, this being part of ChatGPT Plus, and then now this enterprise release that OpenAI has. If you haven't looked at it yet, I did do a video on it about my first experience with Code Interpreter, how to use it. That video is now almost irrelevant because they've changed the name, but it will still show you the function, and also speaks to enterprise desire to be able to upload files, analyze them, and do some really advanced sort of calculations with data, whether it's CSVs, all different types of data sets. And so again, it harkens back to, for myself, the question of how does this system handle that or store so you can retroactively go back. I think there's a lot of questions about ease of use and intuitiveness, especially as you get into some of those functions and have specific desires, demands, needs, or use cases in this sort of technology stack. But advanced data analysis in beta here, and then now also included in this enterprise release with even more abilities and less limitations. Today marks another step towards an AI assistant for work that helps with any task, protects your company data, and is customized for your organization. This could also be paired with some of the fine-tuning of the 3.5 model that was recently released, that coming to the 4 model at some point. There's rumors of 5 right now. And just overall, while there has been this hype cycle that has spiked and then waned, and then my understanding is that it most likely will spike in maybe a more reasonable way this time as people push the limitations, but then see the opportunities and then see continued releases from big companies like this that give them even more reason to revisit and use it in a valuable, practical context. I think we have a long way to go here. And maybe some of us are already sick of hearing OpenAI, AI, GPT, LLM, all this stuff. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. And ChatGPT for enterprises is just another signal on that. So I've got links as always. I'll put these in the YouTube description. If you have any question, thought, feedback, would love to hear it. I hope everything's going well in your world, and I appreciate you checking this video. Have a wonderful rest of your day.